Alright, we're back. We just got through getting Dracula's heart out of Rover Mansion, which is still kind of a silly name, but, you know, some poor sap out there in Transylvania has the last name of Rover.
Intimidating.
Yes. Heal. Yes, unfortunately, the game, because of its non-linearity, means that you have to do some backtracking, and once you get the heart, you have to go all the way back to where you started the game and keep going. Now, the heart's use, I think, is mentioned by a villager, because I think somebody gave you a clue as to what to do with the heart. The heart doesn't do any... It's not like the rib in the fact that it doesn't give you any offense or defense quality or do anything particularly neat. It has only one use, and it's kind of weird and obscure. Basically, the ferryman, which we'll see once we progress past where we started, the ferryman will carry you to one of two shores, depending upon whether or not you have the heart. If you have the heart equipped, when you talk to him, he'll send you to the third mansion, which is, well, I can't remember at the moment, but I'll remember it by the time we get there. He'll carry you to the third mansion, and also to the area where you can get the diamond. If you don't have it, he'll carry you to the other shore, which you have to go to anyway, but it's the way we'll have to go on in order to get further in the game. Because unfortunately, the path that carries us to the third mansion and the diamond is a dead end, so we'll have to do, again, some backtracking. The track you're listening to, for those of you who are curious, is one of the most famous Castlevania tunes, probably outside of Vampire Killer, and that is Bloody Tears.
By the way, I think I was kind of high when I said that those two musics were the same earlier.
Ah.
I don't know what I was thinking of.
Well, a lot of the music can kind of blend together after a while. This track shows up in many different games. The next game it would show up in is the arcade-only game Haunted Castle, which I wanted desperately to do a video of, but unfortunately I couldn't get the recording to work properly, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to post that. Sorry everyone. It's an interesting game, and it's brutally difficult, due in part to the fact that Konami decided you could only continue 3 times. Which is strange for an arcade game.
That is so harsh.
But the track shows up there as well, and it actually shows up in a way that almost makes sense given the title, because it shows up in the castle entryway. Partway through, there's this giant portrait of a woman who will cry bloody tears as you walk by.
By the way, the internet agrees with you. The art does nothing but influence the ferryman.
Ah, yes. And here we're using one of the laurels. This is one of the poison marshes I mentioned before. Thankfully, one laurel lasted long enough to get through. And here is the ferryman. And equipping the heart. Ferryman, well, not necessarily this ferryman, but the concept of the ferryman shows up in several other games as well. And we have entered Brom Mansion, which is kind of nice considering it's a shout out to, obviously, Bram Stoker. Or I'm assuming it was meant to be a shout out to Bram Stoker. I can't say for for certain. Unfortunately, this castle, or this mansion, doesn't have a nice shortcut that we could use, like in Rover. Well, while we're making our way through Brahms' mansion, I'll take the opportunity to clear up a few things that I may have said before that I got wrong. I think on a bit of lost commentary, I mentioned we were talking about the level up system and how that it was largely useless due to the fact that you could continue right where you died even if you ran out of lives. Well, I looked it up, and there are 6 levels that you can attain. It does give you the benefit of extra HP every 2 levels. However, it also increases your attack and defense every time you gain a level, so it actually does have more use than just giving you extra life.
Stop hitting him with that heavy water.
Honestly, this is one of those... This particular staircase is probably one of the ones I really dislike in this game. Going up and going down are a pain because it's nearly impossible not to take damage.
Thankfully, later Belmonts learn how to climb the staircase without getting their feet stuck to it.
Yes, I look forward to that day. Alright, and we're coming up on the first boss of the game. There's only 3, so...
Very different for a Castlevania.
Yeah, usually there's a boss every level, but they decide just to throw in a couple in this case.
Sometimes 2 per level in the others.
Yeah.
On very rare occasion, 3.
Yeah. OMG, WTF, BBQ, it's death. And Death's a Wuss.
Wow. That must be embarrassing after the other games.
I take it as a moment of just pure schadenfreude. Alright, and we now possess Dracula's eyeball. Dracula's eyeball will actually let us see the hidden objects like clue books and that sacred flame that we got earlier. We'll actually be able to see them normally even before we break the blocks with the eyeball equipped. So it is kind of useful. And we're out of time, so next time we'll escape from what mansion is? Brahms' mansion, and continue on our quest. Next time, folks.